What's up, guys? Sheepy Play Sheepy here. I'm going to be detailing my Allegiance experience. Um, it's going to be very short, as I've told before. These like beginner tier streams, like Allegiance, Red World, especially Red World, I literally would probably have nothing to say about that level. Just kind of say, let's get down to the difficulty. Um, but levels like Allegiance, Red World, Deception Dive, and the Flawless, I won't really have shit to say about it because like, what am I really gonna say about the level? It's not something like Accu or that I spent like 4 months trying to beat it. So, that I would have a lot to say. And, obviously Artificial Ascent and the Thanatos. I had a lot to say about those levels, especially Artificial Ascent and Blade of Justice. Can't forget about that, bro. Can't forget about probably one of my worst experiences with a level ever. And, in my opinion, Allegiance just was a pretty meh level. It was like the most meh level ever played in Geometry Dash. It was just so like mid. It's like the most mid level in the game. It's pretty good decoration. I like the decoration. It's fine. The gameplay is like okay. It gets to the when you get to the drop, it is definitely fun. But the pre-drop is really boring. And I can't imagine being Allegiance as like one of your first extreme demons. It's legit probably one of the most boring ones out there as your first. Accu is balanced and a lot more fun. Allegiance is completely unbalanced because its difficulty mainly comes in at the ship part at I think it's 58 or maybe 52. Yeah, I think it's 52 if I'm correct. I don't know. It's been like a day since I played Allegiance. Um and the wave I think at like 62. And actually before I talk more about Allegiance, I know RobTop released the CBF update. I actually been playing on the CBF update very recently. I think it's better than the original version of CBF. I think it's so good. I got like legit on other levels. Like I was straight flying really good on Bloodbath. I was doing Crack's part very easily, which is normal, but I was doing it even easier. Like I think this morning before release, I did Crack's part 3 times in a row, and now I could do it even easier. That just shows how good this version of CBF is. I use like I think the bolt options, click on steps, and like the what was it like click between frames one. I use that. I heard it impacts performance, but I play in 60, and my computer's pretty good for Geometry Dash, so I don't think I'm gonna have an issue. The only time I have an issue is I'm playing a level at Crone, which is 500k objects, but I don't ever plan on playing levels that have more than 150k objects because that's just too much. But back to Allegiance. I'll detail my experience. It was actually initially going to go for Allegiance after crowd control. There's a 78 to 100 video out there of Allegiance, which is the swing copter to 100. And I thought, yo, Allegiance is going to be so hard. After that, I just kind of just disappeared from playing Allegiance. I just ended up never playing it. Well, no, it was not from the swing copter. It was from the cube after the straight fly. Um, but after that, I just kind of forgot about Allegiance. Because I was focused on crowd control, and then I dropped crowd control and moved to Bloodbath, and all that shit happened. So I just kind of forgot about Allegiance. But around I think late November to early December, I started playing Allegiance. Because I think if I remember correctly, I did want to go for Allegiance after Artificial Ascent. Which Artificial Ascent started back in November and took me until I think the 16th of January of this year to beat Artificial Ascent. So you can clearly kind of tell how that went. Um, but I got really fast progress in Allegiance. I think on day one of me coming back, I already got like 52 to 100. I think it was. That's the ship. The impossible ship part. I'll explain later why I think that. I'll explain once we get to reviewing the difficulty of Allegiance. And then the day later, I did a pretty long grind. Took me like an hour to get dropped to 100. I was like, damn, Allegiance is kind of easy. And I do agree, it's easy. I think it's a very easy level. And keep in mind, I was playing with keyboard, so I was kind of butt at the game. Because my straight fly was garbage. It was actual dog shit. But in my opinion, um, The pre-drop of Allegiance honestly is the hardest part about the level. You have a ball with one like fucking like artificial ascent click. Like what the fuck? Like it's actually harder than something in Bloodbath. Legit. I would not be surprised if it would be in a Michigan part. You have a wave with like the first two clicks being like the hardest part about it. You have a ship that is easy as fuck. You have a robot that is really easy. And after that, robot's actually a cube part, which is even easier. And you get the first cube, which honestly is so confusing because the two blue orbs. Where you have the second one, you kind of have to do a micro click, but then you also kind of don't want to do a micro click, so it's going to lead up to an awkward jump, or if you jump chilling, you die to the spike on top. It's such a bad part. I don't like it, bro. And the drop, really, it's not that hard. You got UFO parts learning, but once you know what you're doing, it's easy. I died there way too much amount of times though. The impossible ship part, which I'll explain later. You have a very easy UFO. I don't know why Toph died there. That shit's easy. Um, Now actually, before I get more in the in depth about Allegiance, where I show like the deaths and the new bests, I only do that for like really hard extreme demons, like ones that at the bare minimum bloodbath difficulty. So only those and above I will do. With those like kind of like showing how much deaths I had in that certain percentage and what new best I got. With something like Allegiance, it takes too much time and it honestly is not worth it for a level that I can beat in like without knowing anything in like 3 days. It's just kind of easy. Um, um, After the UFO is a really difficult robot initially, and then after this became free. A ship part is free. You have a wave part that's kind of really difficult because of how awkward it is, but it kind of became easier with time. You have a robot part that's learny, but like has some buggy ass green orbs, so you kind of have to get lucky. You have a cube part that's easy. You have a mini wave that is really inconsistent, especially for new players. Like I was fucking lucky. I was playing Allegiance when I was doing artificial ascent. That was when I was a lot better at the game. If I was doing this as like my second extreme demon or my third extreme demon, I would have gotten clapped, bro. The Allegiance is not easy, bro. It's not an easy level. And then we have the um the straight fly, which has a weird transition I don't like. It depends. I hit the last green orb, and then you have the cube, which is like, it's not the hardest. It's not like that bad, except the pink orb that's like really difficult. But outside of this, really easy. You have a duel that is inconsistent but easy. A swing copter that is like one of the freest parts in the entire level. I don't have Vortrox died there. It's mad easy. You have a ship part that I don't know how he died there too at 92 because honestly the green orb is mad easy. It's legit not hard. The straight fly is kind of difficult, but it's just not that bad. You have a wave part. Actually, I used to spam in. That would have legit made it gambling if I had to spam in there. But thank God I learned the strategy to do a swoop, and I learned that from Toph. A lot of this level I actually learned from Toph. Um, so I guess kudos to him for making me, beat Allegiance faster. And the only extreme demon I've ever beaten eight in under 10k attempts. If you don't, if you include Crazy 3, because it used to be an extreme demon, that'd actually be Allegiance would be the second one. So I beat Crazy 3 in like 9,957 attempts, which is like literally so close to 10k. So I got real lucky with Crazy 3. I still think that should be an extreme demon. Like that shit's like really hard. Um, and then Um, after the ship, well, after the wave, you got the ship I died to the 97 one. I legit probably one of the most awkward transitions, and after that's like the easiest triple in the game. So let's show the difficulty level, and it's mainly going to be where I'm going to go in depth in the ship, like the ship part of it. Okay, so here we are. Now we're gonna analyze the difficulty of Allegiance. And a little fun fact. I actually had to edit in the music because I actually muted my desktop volume, bro. Legit, bro. It was a bitch to do, bro, because it legit was so broken. Because I use Power Director, so legit, I kind of had to get lucky. But thankfully, I did. But like I promised, I'll get to the ship. So I basically already explained the parts other than the ship. Um, like I said, the two clicks are really hard. So in this ball part, which actually did become very consistent, including this click. This click is single-handedly the hardest click about Allegiance. There's no explanation. If you know, you know. And for this wave, I think these two clicks are the only clicks from the unnerfed version. I think it might be a little bit nerfed. But these are the two hard clicks in the wave, and that's the wave is like really easy. It's not that hard. But it could be because, I beat like Artificial Ascent, so like wave is easy now. Even though the level doesn't even focus on wave. But okay, here's the ship. This is the reason why I had to go more in depth in the video was because it's really hard to explain without visuals. This straight fly is so inconsistent. You can't really straight fly because you have to do a precisely hit these orbs. You kind of have to hope that it works. You only hit the pink orb, and after that, you do a timing on this green orb where you click late, and actually you can swoop more. You can swoop down more downwards than you think, which actually makes it a lot easier. Which is really what made me really consistent at this ship in Legions. That's why I call it the hard or the impossible part in quotations. Because yeah, initially I did think it was the impossible part, but really I don't think it's that hard, bro. It's just probably because of consistency and of just uh my my skill. But I can definitely agree though if you think this part the ship part's really hard. But yeah, while this video plays, yeah, definitely will say I was actually going to do Love Baba like today, but thankfully I said nah because I hate these type of levels that are like clunky as fucking don't work. Like I got 39 to 100. That sounds like a lot until you realize what really is in Love Baba. It's just so bad. So instead, on Tuesday, I'm gonna do Night Terrors and uh and after Night Terrors on if I finish on Tuesday. That's but hopefully I do because I already know the entire level. But if you do finish on Tuesday, then on Wednesday we're gonna start the flawless, which I already have 50 to 100 on. And the rule will be I do two insane demons. Now they're optional. I don't need to do them, but I probably will do them, just for the sake of my skill in the game. Um, for like the sake of my skill, so I'm better at the game, but also, not rusty. Because I don't want to be rusty in this game. Besides, it takes me a while to de-rust. Actually, this spike, I actually died to this like 2 or 3 times. I don't know why. I just kept on dying there, bro. I hated that shit, man. But yeah, so that's Allegiance for you. That was kind of important to me because this I was going to do I think crowd control and like Allegiance and maybe just be done with the game. Like I think I was going to be done with the game after like doing crowd control and Allegiance. But I'm gonna be done with the game after I think having 30 extreme demons done. Like I at the end, I want to have 30, maybe 35, if there's some more levels that interest me. But though I'll say one thing: if you ever look in the future, the most likely new hardest I'll ever do, but that's not saying I'll ever do it. The hardest I'd most likely do, which is still like a 0.1% chance, will be Digital Descent. It's the most logical choice to go for as the next hardest because I beat Artificial Ascent, so I'm not going for Digital Descent. But it still has a 0.1% chance of me actually, wanting to do it. It's basically Artificial Ascent, but Viperin and his team were like high on meth or something. So, they kind of forgot, hey, you remember Artificial Ascent? Good gameplay? Yeah, let's just take a shit on it and make like the most miserably boring gameplay ever. Practically like the same like balancing Artificial Ascent had, but even worse. Like at least Artificial Ascent became fun in the second half. Digital Descent? Wow. At that point, I'm glad there's no Michigan part, if I'm correct, in a Digital Descent. I know Soul Spa's going for Digital Descent, and I gotta hand off my good luck to him. Uh, but I actually give you guys a little bit of a look into the future after the flawless. The two insane demons I'll do. So first one will be Necropolis. I already got fucking 5 to 100 and 69%. And actually, this one will be first. Necropolis would be last because I hate Necropolis. But it'll be Arcane Ascent. It should be a level I can like shit out pretty easily. It's literally just Artificial Ascent, but a shit ton easier. So why not free Insane Demon? And I already know how to play Artificial Ascent, so why not? Like the Flawless, most should take me like 5 or 6 days. Like that's if I get unlucky. But at minimum, maybe 3 days. Like I already know how to play the second half, so I just kind of need to learn the first half, which is kind of tough. But like I've been hearing, if you're a good shit player like me, then level shouldn't be that bad. Though I would say the Q part, once it goes in the funny games part in terms of the music, is like so weird and inconsistent. Like the level's like really bad. Like this is Q part with buff triples and buff doubles. Like really? Really? You actually gotta be kidding me. There is a buff triple and buff doubles that are like three in a row. There's like a one buff triple, and then there's three in a row. Like, oh my god. But I guess to see you guys with my Night Terrace completion, hopefully happening tomorrow. So, bye.